Well, we would probably reproduce the record exactly if we were disciplined enough to do it. But it's just, forget it. It's out of the question. It doesn't, So what happens instead is, I mean, by now our fans realize that they're not going to hear the record. They may hear the songs, but they definitely won't hear the record. So but that's okay. I mean, really, from a musician's point of view, a record is kind of like a painting. It's you have a chance to really study all the detail, and you can be sure that everything that happens in the song has the benefit of supervision. So you can pay attention to incredible detail. When you're playing live, it's a whole other experience. It's like a snapshot. It's like a Polaroid. What's there is what's there, and the moment provides new things. Sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, but they're really two different things. It's like apples and oranges almost. It's just, for us, that's been our big trouble making records. Really, is we've never been able to get that live energy into the grooves. And we go in the studio and we might be able to get it to sound superficially okay, but it's just no life. It'd be like. So that's been the big mystery for us, but we're starting to get to where we can do that now. We're starting to understand what it takes to make that happen.
Many bands, they hear the words bootleg tapes, they go crazy. But the Dead sort of promote the trading and the hoarding and the passing around of bootleg performances.
Well, I don't know about the hoarding and trading and passing. The thing is that we don't discourage the tapers. But it's just because it's a reality, that even if you try to prevent people from taping, they're going to tape anyway. There's just no way to stop it, really. So for us, it's one of those things of, first of all, they're paying to hear the music, and I mean, after we're finished with it, it's gone, So why shouldn't they take the music that they paid for home with them? I mean, I don't see any problem with that, really, and I think that. Probably there's a superstition anyway in the music business that if you let people tape your music, somehow they won't buy your records. I don't think that's true. I mean, at least it doesn't appear to be true as far as the Grateful Dead is concerned. That is to say that if people buy tickets, they also buy records, whether they tape or not. And the fact that there are enormous numbers of tapes out there in circulation, I mean, it doesn't seem to affect. It doesn't seem to affect us in any kind of serious way, except that we have a reputation for being people who are lenient about taping. That's about the most serious repercussion. And of course, there's the thing of that. I mean, if you're worried about concealing your mistakes, then you might have a legitimate thing about preventing people from taping. Like if you decide that your performances have to be absolutely perfect before you want them, but. I mean, realistically, nobody has absolutely perfect performances. It just doesn't happen. Not in this world,
What really surprised me though is you're pretty bright, and your lyrics are, and just your whole stage persona is pretty angry, angst-ridden, frustrated. I mean, you see the world for what it is. Did you ever have second thoughts about bringing a child into the world the way it is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I really can't describe what changed our attitude so fast. I think, I really was a lot more negative and angry and everything else a few years ago, but that had a lot to do with not having a mate, not having a steady girlfriend and stuff like that. So that was one of the main things that was bothering me, that I wouldn't admit at the time, So now that I've found that, the world seems a lot better for some reason, It really does change your attitude about things. I mean, 4 years ago I would have said, the classic thing, like, how dare someone bring a child into this life, it's completely a terrible way to go, and, the world's going to explode any day and stuff like that. But once you fall in love, it's a bit different.
You do so much of the soundtrack yourself with your own the synthesizers and the computers and things. How do you piece it all together in your mind? Do you hear, oh, a violin would sound good here, or
Yeah.
a flute would be good here?
Yeah, it's kind of inspirations. But most of the time I'm sitting outside first. And then something watching, and then some inspirations came up. And then, okay, and then bring these inspiring something. And then check the sounds. Oh, this is it. Sometimes fit, but sometimes it doesn't fit.
Computers are wonderful things, aren't they?
Oh, yes. But these technologies are changing a lot.
How is it changing your music, or what you can do?
But I like to follow the more, the natural movement. It's kind of nature's. But sometimes, maybe we go down to the, city, and then many sounds is coming, many music. Sometimes it's a little too much, because the tempo is getting so fast.
Yes.
And during the stay, I'm here. I'm not listening to music.
You're not listening to music? What do you
Because
do?
listen to wind. This is the best, I think the best music. Winds, and then watch something, all the changing, the moving, the leaf, the moving. This is music. So maybe my compositions is, coming from that kind of thing. The movement of the natures. So the nature gave me a lot of inspirations.
And why kill an animal to eat it? Why you don't eat dog?
I love dogs. To
Yeah,
pet, not to
he's
eat.
Funny, he's funny too.
No, no,
You wouldn't eat a dog, right?
No.
Why?
I share emotions with a dog.
And you don't with a chicken or a
No,
cow?
I agree with that sentiment. I am wrong for eating chicken as well.
Well, I didn't say you were wrong. I'm just saying.
The thing about meat, though, it tastes awesome.
Well, I don't think meat tastes awesome. I think
Really?
you
Okay.
season it. You ever heard the song called Beef?
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm gonna recite that lyric, and we're gonna end it on that note. All right.
Okay.
It goes like this: Beef, what a relief. When must this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You could believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow, the way it gets to your plate and how. The cow doesn't grow fast enough for man, so through his greed he makes a faster plan. He make drugs to make the cow grow quicker. Through the process the cow gets sicker. 21 different drugs are pumped into the cow in one big lump. So just before it dies, it cries in a slaughterhouse full of germs and flies. Off with the head, they chop it, drain it, cart it. There it is in your local supermarket. Red and bloody, a corpse neatly packed. And you're wondering about heart attacks? Come on, let's be for real. You are what you eat is the way I feel, but the Food and Drug Administration would tell you meat is the perfect combination. You see, cows live under fear and stress, trying to figure what's going to happen next. Fear and stress can become a part of you. In your cells and blood, this is true. So when the cow is killed, believe it, you preserve those cells and freeze it. You thaw it out with the blood and season it. Then you sit down and begin eating it. And your body's structure becomes your structure. All the fear and stress of another. Any drug is addicted by any name. Even drugs and meat, they all the same.
A little church in Val Verde, which is near Valencia, California. And this little church had no pastor. So my father said, hey, we're going out. So my mother packed her lunch. So we go all the way out to this place. It was 60 miles from where we lived. We walk in and there were about 5 people in there. And it smelled like cheese or milk or something, Because they were all farmers, We go, ooh, what's that? And the floor, it was just a box church. The floor was a concrete. They had some little pews and a piano and a pulpit. This lady said, we've had Brother Ben Crouch, he's going to preach. And he preached like a wild man. He preached like the place was packed. And we kept saying, ooh, listen to Daddy. they had no piano player. And this piano, upright piano, it was closed, you know, and we were accustomed to music, you know, but there was no one to play the piano. So he said, Andre, because he knew how much I love Jesus, he said, come up here. I didn't know what he, you know, being shy and withdrawn. And I was standing down there. He said, Andre, if God would give you the gift of music, would you use it for his glory all your life? And I said, and then it was like someone asking me now, would I like to be an astronaut? It was foreign. But I knew we liked music. And I looked up at him and I said, yeah, Daddy. And he laid his hands on my head. And he said, Father, I lay my hands on my son. And if you want me to preach, you know how much I love music. Give this boy the gift of music. So I walked back to my seat. And he proceeded to preach. And the last Sunday that my dad was supposed to be there, I had no clue he was going to do this. But he said, Andre, come up here. And I go, well, you know, what now? I knew he wasn't going to ask me to play because I had never touched a real piano. And they started singing, what a friend we have in Jesus. And my father did like this. I go, what? He said, go to the piano. I said, go to the piano. And they started singing, what a friend we have in Jesus. And I found the tonic note, like, what? No. My ears just popped. And I go, and I started playing. Just like that, with both hands. And God started giving me songs, and he has never, ever stopped.